There is a Zen story that says a master had two disciples. He gave each of them a lotus seed. The first one stored it in a chest, protecting it from the world. The second planted it in the mud of a dirty pond. Do you know which one bloomed? The answer to this question will change the way you see this new year that is beginning. Because right now you are at that very same point. You hold in your hands the seed of a new life. But maybe, like that first disciple, you are keeping it stored away, waiting for the perfect moment, protecting your dreams from the real world. And while you wait, time passes. Today we are going to talk about something Zen masters have known for centuries. You cannot begin something new if your hands are full of the old. New light cannot enter through a door that is never closed. Stay with me for the next few minutes because I am going to share with you the ancient art of closing cycles and being reborn. Welcome once again to our space of Zen stories and wisdom. We are in a very special moment of the year. January. A month that for many represents a new beginning, a blank page, an opportunity to be different. But let me ask you something with complete honesty. How many times have you started the year full of resolutions, only to discover by March that you are still exactly the same person? I don't judge you. It has happened to me. It has happened to all of us. And do you know why this happens? It's not because of a lack of willpower. It's not because you are weak or undisciplined. It's because of something much deeper that most people don't understand. Zen masters discovered it more than 1,000 years ago. You cannot fill yourself with new water if your cup is already full of old water. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But this simple truth contains the secret of real transformation. Today we are not going to talk about New Year's resolutions. We are not going to make lists of goals or perfect plans that never come true. We are going to do something much more powerful. We are going to learn the art of closing cycles, of letting go, of releasing. And only then, when your hands are empty and your heart is light, will we be able to talk about beginning something new. Because the truth is this: most people cannot move forward because they are carrying too much weight from the past. Let me tell you a real story from a Zen monastery in Kyoto. Two monks were walking back to the temple after days of traveling. They came to a river swollen by heavy rains. There, a young woman was standing on the bank, unable to cross without getting completely soaked. The first monk, without saying a word, lifted her onto his back, crossed the river, set her down on the other side, and continued on his way. The two monks walked on in silence for hours. As evening fell, the second monk finally exploded. "I can't believe it. How could you carry that woman? You know our vows forbid contact with women." The first monk looked at him calmly and replied, "Brother, I left that woman on the riverbank hours ago. You are still carrying her." This story is not about monks' rules. It's about you. It's about me. It's about all of us. How many things are you still carrying that you should have let go of long ago? That hurtful comment someone made years ago. That opportunity you missed. That relationship that ended. That mistake you made. That dream that didn't turn out the way you expected. You keep carrying them. Day after day. Year after year. And each time they weigh more. Think about this for a moment. If you carried a backpack full of stones every day, what would happen? At first, you might be able to walk normally. But over time, your back would bend. Your steps would slow down. You would tire more quickly. Eventually, you wouldn't be able to move forward. This is exactly what happens to your soul when you don't close cycles. When you don't let go of the past. When you keep carrying old stories, ancient resentments, pain that no longer serves any purpose. And here comes something most people don't understand. Closing a cycle does not mean forgetting. It does not mean what happened wasn't important. It does not mean it didn't hurt or that it didn't matter. Closing a cycle means releasing the emotional weight. It means stopping living in the past. It means transforming the experience into wisdom instead of carrying it as a burden. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I understand that I need to let go of the past. But it's easier said than done. You're right. And there is a reason why it's so difficult. Zen masters talk about something they call attachment to suffering. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Why would anyone become attached to suffering? But look at your own life for a moment. That story you tell over and over about how you were betrayed. That narrative about why your life isn't the way you wanted it to be. That perfect excuse for why you haven't achieved what you desire. Over time, these stories become comfortable. They become part of your identity. I'm someone who was betrayed. I'm someone who had bad luck. I'm someone who didn't have the right opportunities. And here's the problem. If you let go of that story, then who are you? If you release that identity based on the past, you'll have to build a new one. And that's scary. Because what is familiar, even when it hurts, feels safer than the unknown. I'm going to tell you something I learned from a Zen master years ago. Sometimes people prefer to remain in their familiar prison rather than risk the unknown freedom. But let me ask you a question. Is it worth it? Is it worth sacrificing your future to protect stories from the past? Is it worth staying trapped in an old version of yourself just because it feels familiar? Now I'm going to share something with you that changes everything. Something no self-help book will tell you because it is too simple and too profound at the same time. Zen masters call it the art of fertile emptiness. Listen carefully, because this is the key to everything. Only in emptiness can something new grow. A seed does not grow in a pot full of stones. A flower does not sprout in already occupied soil. And you cannot create a new life while clinging to the old one. Emptiness is not your enemy. Emptiness is the necessary condition for creation. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that sacred emptiness in your life. How to close cycles in a way that honors your past but frees your future. But before we continue, if this conversation is resonating with you, if you feel that this message arrived at the exact moment you needed it, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here we share ancient Zen wisdom applied to modern life. Stories that transform. Teachings that liberate. And we do it several times a week. Subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any video. Trust me, this is the kind of knowledge that changes lives. Very well, now we enter the practical part. The true art of closing cycles according to the Zen tradition. First, you need to understand something fundamental. Closing a cycle is not a single event. It is not something you do once and that's it. It is a process. It is a path. And like every Zen path, it requires practice, patience, and presence. First, teaching, recognition. Zen masters say, what you resist persists. What you recognize can be transformed. The first step to closing any cycle is to fully recognize it. Not to run away from it. Not to minimize it. Not to justify it. Simply to recognize it. This means sitting with yourself in silence and asking, which cycles in my life are still open? Which stories from the past still control me? Which emotions have I not fully processed? It may be a relationship that ended but that you never emotionally let go of. It may be a project you abandoned and for which you still judge yourself. It may be a version of yourself that you are no longer but that you are still trying to hold on to. Write it down. Put it into words. Give it form. Because what is not named cannot be released. Second, teaching. Acceptance. There is a crucial difference between resignation and acceptance. Resignation says, I can't do anything about it, so I give up. Acceptance says, this happened, and although I can't change the past, I can change my relationship with it. Acceptance does not mean that you agree with what happened. It does not mean you liked it or that it was okay. It simply means that you stop fighting the reality that it happened. Zen masters have a powerful exercise for this. It is called the river exercise. Imagine that your life is a river. Now imagine that each painful experience from the past is a stone that you have placed in that river. trying to stop its flow. What happens over time? The water stagnates, pressure builds up, and eventually, either the river overflows destructively, or it dries up completely. Acceptance is removing those stones, one by one, letting the river flow naturally again. Third teaching, transformative gratitude. This is the part that surprises most people. Zen masters teach that every cycle you close should be closed with gratitude. Not despite the pain, but including the pain. But how can I be grateful for something that hurt me? You may ask. You are not grateful for the pain itself. You are grateful for what it taught you, for how it strengthened you, for the wisdom it gave you, for the person you became through that experience. Every difficult cycle in your life is like coal that turns into a diamond under pressure. You don't thank the pressure for being comfortable. You thank the pressure for creating something valuable. When you can look at your past and say, "Thank you for the lesson," something magical happens. The poison turns into medicine. The wound becomes wisdom. And finally, you can let go. Fourth teaching, the closing ritual. Zen monks know something that modern culture has forgotten. Rituals have power. Not because they are magical, but because they give your mind and heart a concrete way to process the abstract. To truly close a cycle, you need a ritual. Something physical. Something symbolic. Something that marks the moment of before and after. It can be writing a letter that you will never send and burning it. It can be releasing something into a river. It can be simply sitting in meditation and saying out loud, "I close this cycle. I release it with love and gratitude, and I open myself to the new." The specific ritual does not matter as much as the intention behind it. What matters is that you mark a conscious moment of transition. Your subconscious needs this ceremony of closure. Fifth teaching, the sacred emptiness. And here we arrive at the heart of Zen practice. After letting go comes emptiness. And this emptiness frightens many people. When you let go of an old relationship, there is emptiness. When you abandon a dream that no longer serves you, there is emptiness. When you release a version of yourself, there is emptiness. And the natural impulse is to fill it immediately with something new. A new relationship, a new project, a new identity. Anything to avoid feeling that emptiness. But Zen masters will tell you, respect the emptiness. Dwell in it. Allow yourself to exist in that formless space for a while. Because within that emptiness lies all potential. In that emptiness you rest from constant doing and simply allow yourself to be. And from that emptiness, when the right moment arrives, the new will naturally emerge. Do not force it. Do not rush it. Trust the process. Now that you understand how to close cycles, let's talk about how to open yourself to a new life. And here comes something important. Opening yourself to the new does not mean creating a perfect plan for the year. It does not mean setting 10 ambitious goals. It does not mean reinventing yourself completely overnight. Zen masters have a beautiful teaching. Bamboo grows toward the sky, but first it develops deep roots in silence beneath the earth. Opening yourself to a new life begins with something much more subtle than action. It begins with intention, with willingness, with openness. The beginner's mindset. In Zen, there is a concept called Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. It is the ability to see everything as if it were the first time, without prejudice, without assumptions, without the limitations of "I already know how this is." When you have closed old cycles and stand before this new year, you must cultivate this beginner's mind. Ask yourself, if I could begin again, without the stories of the past, who would I choose to be? How would I choose to live? Not from who you think you should be, not from what others expect, but from your deepest truth, the practice of presence. Here comes something counterintuitive. The best way to create a new future is to be fully present in this moment. Why? Because this moment is the only place where you have real power. The past no longer exists except in your mind. The future does not yet exist except in your imagination. But this moment, this very now, is where life truly happens. When you are present, you are not lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. You are here. And from here, from this place of full presence, you can make conscious decisions. You can act with clarity. You can respond to life instead of reacting to your fears. The art of letting go of control. This is difficult for many people, especially at a time of year when everyone talks about setting goals and controlling your destiny. But Zen masters teach something different. Yes, set intentions. Yes, walk in a direction. But let go of rigid attachment to specific outcomes. Let go of the need to control exactly how your life will unfold. Think about a river again. The river has a general direction. It flows toward the ocean. But it does not fight every stone, every bend, every obstacle. It adapts. It finds the way. It flows around what it cannot move. And eventually, it always reaches its destination. Your new life will be like this. You will have a direction, an intention, a purpose. But the exact path will be a surprise. And if you cling too rigidly to a specific plan, you will only create suffering for yourself. Active patience. Opening yourself to the new requires patience. But not a passive patience of simply waiting. An active patience. You act but without haste. You move forward but without forcing. You work but without anxiety. Zen masters cultivate their gardens with this active patience. They plant the seeds. They water them. They give them light. And then they wait. They cannot make the plant grow faster by pulling on it. They can only create the right conditions and trust the natural process. Your life is the same. You create the right conditions, you do your part, and then you trust. We have traveled a long road together in these past few minutes. From understanding the weight of the past to learning the art of closing cycles. From recognizing our resistance to letting go to opening ourselves to the possibility of a new life. Now, let me leave you with something you can do today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. When you finish watching this video, I want you to find a moment of silence. Turn off your phone. Sit in a quiet place. Close your eyes. And ask yourself these 3 questions. First, what cycle in my life is asking to be closed right now? Second, what am I ready to let go of? Third, what new version of myself is waiting to emerge? Do not look for perfect answers. Simply listen to what arises from within you. And trust that. Then create your own closing ritual. It can be simple. It can be private. But let it be intentional. Mark this moment as a before and an after. And finally, respect the emptiness that will come afterward. Do not fill it immediately. Allow yourself to exist in that space of pure possibility. Even if only for a few days. Even if only for a few weeks. From that emptiness, the new will emerge naturally. Not because you force it, but because it is the natural order of things. Where there is space, life always finds a way to bloom. Remember the story we began with. The 2 lotus seeds. The one that was kept in a chest, protected but sterile. And the one that was planted in the dirty mud of the pond. Do you know what the mud of the pond is? It is the past. It is the difficult experiences. It is the moments of confusion and pain. It is all the cycles you have lived and closed. And the lotus flower that grows from that mud does not bloom despite the mud. It blooms because of the mud. Beauty does not come from avoiding the past. It comes from transforming it. You are that lotus flower. And this moment, this new year that is beginning, is your opportunity to bloom. But you can only bloom if you first grow roots. And you can only grow roots if you are willing to immerse yourself in the mud, to do the difficult work of closing cycles, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to open yourself courageously to the new. Before you go, if this message has touched something within you, I ask you to subscribe to this channel. Here we will continue exploring Zen wisdom, sharing stories that transform, and walking this path of awakening together. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and leave me a comment telling me which cycle you are ready to close in this new year. I would love to read your story. Remember, you do not need to be perfect to begin again. You only need to be willing. Close the cycle, release the weight, and open yourself to a new life. See you in the next video. Until then, walk with awareness, live with presence, and bloom from where you are planted. Namaste. Create the right conditions, you do your part, and then you trust.